Okay, this video is going to show you how to assign Wonders content to brand new students to the district or students that have not previously been set up in ConnectEd. So there's two pieces of information that you need, and you've already seen this if you've watched the Everyday Math video. You need the Schoology login information for the student, and you also need your class code for your Wonders content. I'm going to begin by showing you how to find the student's Schoology information. And to do that, you want to click on where it says members of the course that you have the student in, find the student's name, and then with the gear to the right of the student, you have an option to change the password. From here, you can see their Schoology username, so you could write that down. For me, it shows current password. For you, you might not see that. You might just have the option to create a new password, and we recommend putting in the student's student ID number, which is the same thing as their lunch number, which you can find in PowerSchool. So you could type that in here if you needed to reset their password. So write down that information so that you have it for getting them set up with ConnectEd. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that window. And then next, let's talk about getting that class code. So I'm going to jump on McGraw-Hill and let my window launch here. I'm going to move it off to the side for the moment and get to my teacher edition. Okay, so I've clicked in my teacher edition. I'm going to choose my Manage and Assign tab and go to Class Details. When you're here, under the class that you have created, you have the option to View Class Code. Once you get this View Class Code menu, you're going to see your class code right there, and you do want to write it down, so that's what I'm going to take a moment to do, because you're going to want this kind of easily accessible for the next step of the setup. Okay, I've written down my class code. I'm going to close this menu, and I'm actually going to leave this teacher window open, but just scoot it over to the right a little bit because I'm going to work out of two web browsers. So I'm going to go to Firefox next. Sorry, I want to be in Firefox, not Chrome, a different web browser. And going to go to Schoology, so seaman.schoology.com, and this is where you're going to log in as your student. Okay. It's thinking about it. It's not going. Here we go. Okay, and you want to log in as your student, so I'm just going to say Demo 3 for my student login. I'm not going to save that. And you want to get into the student's ConnectEd. So I'm going to click McGraw-Hill Education there, which is going to pop up the new window. I can get rid of these other windows. So I'm going to have my student over here on the left, my teacher on the right. So all it's asking for over here on my student account is for that 8-character class code that I wrote down. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in and then click off of that box. You don't see the Access My Courses become active until you click off of that text box. So now I'm going to say Access My Course, and good, that's loaded for my student. So now, back on my teacher side, I can go back into this page and confirm that yes, that student has shown up for my class, which is great. Now, there's one final step once the student has shown up, and that's to go back to your ConnectEd as the teacher, go to the student edition, and choose to assign the content. Make sure you check the content, hit Next, have your class selected, and have that new student's name selected, and then hit Next. Okay, there's a final step to confirm, so once you click the Assign button, you know that your content has been assigned to that new student. So back on the student here, I can go ahead and make this window a little bit bigger. When you see this little McGraw-Hill red button, you can click on that and it takes you to the student's homepage where you can see that yes, that student now has the content that they need. So you would go through those steps for any of your new students that you need to add. I recommend going through each of your new students and giving them that class code before coming over here to your Teacher Connect Ed account and assigning content. That way you only have to assign content once instead of going through and doing it each time you add a student. So get that class code, add all of your new students by logging into them as Schoology and putting in that class code for them. Then go back to your teacher account and do that as a final assign content step.